The Federal and Velevin Hypermarket jointly present the Thoothukudi Marathon 2024 to raise awareness on drug abuse. The event is co-presented by Edison Cardio Care Center, Tiruchendur, powered by L. Anand Jewelry and St. Mother Teresa Engineering College, Thoothukudi.
Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. Union Minority Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju today tabled the Waqf Board Amendment Bill 2024 in Lok Sabha. Now, though this bill has been referred to a Joint Parliamentary Committee, but what does this bill say? Because it's become a center of huge controversy because the entire opposition opposed the amendments. There were some 40 amendments which were brought by Kiren Rijiju today, and unanimously all the opposition leaders oppose this bill. Now, what does this bill entail? The few salient features, and then we'll try and discuss this with our guest. Some of the key points of this bill, which are quite controversial and are being opposed, is, say, for example, the bill seeks to amend the Waqf Act 1995 and proposes to allow a non-Muslim chief executive officer. Clause 15 of the bill seeks to amend Section 23, which is related to the appointment of chief executive officer and his term of office and other conditions of service, so as to provide the chief executive officer is to be not below the rank of joint secretary to the state government and omit the requirement of him being a Muslim. Now, that is one bit. Then the bill also proposes the Central Waqf Council and state Waqf boards must have at least 2 women on the boards and at least 2 non-Muslim members appointed by the state government to the Waqf boards at the state level. Then the Central Council will now consist of a union minister, 3 MPs, 3 representatives of Muslim organizations, and 3 Muslim law experts. And the DM, which means the collector, the district collector, becomes the final arbiter. And that means that if in case of a dispute, his word is going to be the last word. Now, what is the opposition saying? Opposition is saying that it is almost throttling the religious freedom. The government is trying to erase all the Waqf land. It is trying to enter into an area which it should not. So we'll try and understand all of this. Joining me now is Supreme Court lawyer Mehmood Pracha. So thank you so much for joining. Mehmood, how would you really see this bill? Do you see that this bill, do you consider this bill as a very controversial bill, which really throttles the religious freedom as what is being said? And the opposition also says that, it attacks, it is unconstitutional, it is anti-federal. How would you see it?
See, anything that is being done by the BJP government and the RSS government is and will be always one step directly or indirectly to finish the constitution, to diminish the constitution, and to dilute the constitution. And the victims of these steps are going to be all the weaker sections: minorities, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, women, children, handicapped, and poor. These are going to be their first targets, and the beneficiaries will be their crony capitalists. And that exactly is clearly manifest in this proposal also to amend the Waqf.
But how do the poor and the children and as what you said, that specially abled children, they will get affected if this bill is introduced? Can you explain that bit?
Yeah, but before that, I will have to take you back to history slightly. Everything that they do, they create a communal angle to it. They have a set strategy to demonize the victims. First, before they take any action, they will demonize. So all the RSS and BJP spokesperson, media influencers are harping upon one aspect, that there are various provisions in the present act which which gives the power to the Muslims, quote unquote Muslims, to claim any land as Waqf land, to usurp any land, and to take away the lands of quote unquote Hindus, to also say that they can claim any land by use of Section 40. That is absolutely nonsense. Now, I have to tell your viewers, because a lot of our intellectual people also don't know what Waqf is actually all about. Waqf is not some government grant. Waqf properties are not some government grants or some concession given by the government to the Muslims. It is an internal system of Muslims whereby the Muslim community people donate their land to God or to their own family. Waqf al Aulad is a waqf. It's kind of a trust, and this system of entrustment has been is a gift of the Muslim religion or the Islam as a religion to, as a concept. I'm saying entrustment of properties is a gift of Islam religion to the world, which is being now even Tata Sons. If I tell you, the company which is running is being owned by Tata Trust. Similarly, Waqf is something like that. But there are two kinds of Waqf. First is Waqf al Aulad, which is something like Tata Sons Trust, which is for the benefit of their children and their grandchildren and so on and so forth. Second is Waqf Allah. That means that it is dedicated to Allah. And this property, which is once dedicated, even to Waqf Allah, the grantor of the properties cannot claim them back. It is an irreversible process. If now somebody has donated his properties and made a waqf, so for poor children, mostly these waqfs are to be used for widows, for orphans, for poor, and for some religious purposes. Now, who is going to be the sufferer? Once I or any Muslim dedicates his property to Waqf Allah, now he cannot claim it back. This will be used only for the benefit of poor, children, widows, and that's so.
But how does it actually impact the Muslims? That's what I'm trying to understand. If it's a Muslim trust, as what you have just explained, that it's something which is given to the Muslims as an endowment, as a gift, as a philanthropic act, and that's not something where the government should be intervening so much. So how does it impact the Muslims if this bill is passed?
Now, what they are doing is they are putting control of the government over something which is absolutely protected by Article 25. One of your favorite person who you interview again and again, Mr. Subramaniam Swamy, I cannot resist myself from referring to him. He has filed various petitions in various courts and successfully also in some cases where he filed petitions to bring back the mandirs from the administrative capacity of the government. Why? Because Hindus have a right to run their own business, run their own temples, run their own religious endowments. That exactly, what is his argument? That when government takes over, there is more corruption than the internal affairs of into the internal affairs of religion also. Same thing will happen here. Even today, let me tell you this, the state of affairs of Waqf properties is lesser said the better. It is one of the most corrupt institution in the country. But the idea of the government is not to remove the corruption, but the idea is to create a rift between Hindus and Muslims by projecting that Muslims are usurping public land, Muslims are usurping Hindu people's land. So that, and for that, what they're doing is if the proposals are rightly reported, so they are introducing now what even Hindus can become members of Waqf Board. What will it entail? That Muslims can also, is it possible to make a Muslim in charge of or a member of shrine boards? Vaishno Devi Shrine Board or the Shrine Board of Tirupati Balaji or any other shrine. Is it workable? Is it something which should be done by government? So that kind of, they are only trying to create rift. And let me tell you, most of these two pet industrialists of Modi government, Adani and Ambani, both are encroaching huge tracts of Waqf land. The very house of Ambani is on Waqf land, and which was again result of corruption done by Muslim members of the Waqf. So instead of reducing the corruption, instead of streamlining that, what they are doing is they are trying to create a picture that it is going to going to demonize Muslims once more.
No, but Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, who himself is a BJP leader, he says that, these kind of reforms which are being brought about through this bill, they are timely and they are necessary, and they will cut a lot of corruption, which is already so rampant. There have been so many complaints. So all of this has been said by Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, and he sees this as a progressive legislation. Because what is the harm if they are bringing in Muslim women also?
That is what I'm saying. They will always mislead you. 2 Muslim women, when the number of the members of the board are still less, it's even 7 or 11. There is already a mandatory provision of having 2 Muslim women. But they are trying to project as if they are bringing in some reform. They're not. Section 14, proviso, I will read it to you. Provided further that at least 2 members appointed on the board shall be women. What are they bringing? But they are trying to project as if this was not there. Muslims are anti women, so they don't keep women in there. They are necessary part of a board. 2 members have to be there. So what's new? But they will project things which are not true. Now what they are saying is they will.
Mehmood, but there is the other side of argument which the government is giving to the people, and that is also I don't know if you can explain that. Now the government is saying that how
Yes.
How do you counter the charges of the allegations which are leveled against the Waqf boards about all the land scams which have come in, outrageous claims over lands and unbridled powers which have been enjoyed by the Waqf boards. So this is a way to curtail all of that. And that's what exactly the government is saying, that this is a reformist measure and it will try and counter all of this.
On the contrary. See, if their motive and objective was pious, nobody will oppose it. Now you tell me, it's something like Agniveer. All the veterans of army and armed forces are clearly saying, not mincing words, that this is going to compromise our safety, defense of India. How they are projecting it is that it's going to strengthen defense of India. So this is a classic example of that Agniveer once again. What they are going to do is they are, in the name of strengthening it, they are going to reduce it. What are these 3 amendments in the criminal law? All of them are going to create a situation of chaos. But how they are projecting it is as if they are going to improve upon the redundant and actually draconian laws of the British times while making these laws more draconian. That's the classic case of RSS and BJP, you have to understand. Now, Waqf tribunals they are opposing. Firstly, I would like to, through you, inform your viewers that these bodies are appointed by state governments. So now, for the last 10 years at least, BJP has been ruling maximum number of states in the country. So Waqf boards are also appointed by these state governments. Waqf councils for the last 11 years have been appointed by them. If there is corruption, whose people are undertaking this corruption? Their nominees. So idea is not to reduce corruption. In the name of reducing corruption, they want to enhance corruption so that they can usurp more and more land. And let me remind you officially also, I have another opinion. I have a different opinion. Waqf land bank is 3rd in magnitude after defense and railways.
And railways, yes.
So
is it fight for autonomy? Mehmood, I want to know from you very clearly that is the government trying to snatch the autonomy of the Waqf boards, and that's exactly the idea of how they can exercise more control on the Muslim community.
Now, I have even today. Now, please tell me the distinction between a Muslim government officer and a non-Muslim government officer. Please tell me this. The only difference can be because a Muslim officer is equally competent, he is also an IS officer, he is also a joint secretary, he is trained by the Dehradun and wherever. So, but the only advantage a Muslim would have that he will have some basic understanding, knowledge of Muslim religion, and he would have some kind of better interaction with Muslim community. That's the only advantage. What difference does it make if a Muslim is there? So they are trying to show to the Muslim community, the Hindu community that we are trying to snatch something out of Muslim. They cannot be trusted. So this motive is which is hurting them. Secondly, tribunals. Niluji, you are aware and the world is aware that our judiciary is rightly or wrongly claiming that we are so overworked that we cannot handle the cases. So various tribunals have been formed where there are judicial officers or retired judicial officers and also administrative officers. These are quasi-judicial bodies which are performing the function of judiciary only. Now, Waqf Tribunal is also, since there is large number of litigation, it was a litigation reducing exercise. Same way as Central Administrative Tribunal. N number of tribunals are there. Income Tax Tribunal, TRI, this Telecommunication Tribunal, even PMLA tribunals are there. Custom tribunals are there. Defense Forces appellate tribunals are there. So this is an exercise to reduce the timeline of the conflicts. So that they are saying as if these tribunals have some Muslim religious people or Muslim hardcore Muslim people sitting in these tribunals who snatch away the properties of non-Muslims. That is the impression they are giving. But this is a purely judicial body which functions, and mind you, appeals from this will go to High Court and the Supreme Court. The tribunal. It only reduces the time.
But till now, according to the old act I'm talking about, till now, these things were not challengeable in the court of law. It was resolved by the Waqf Board only. But now, since the final arbiter becomes the district collector, what do you think is the biggest danger now in bringing the DM, into the picture, and now he becomes the final arbiter of the things?
Once again, a lie. Every decision of Waqf Board, even if it is passed by a majority, can be referred to state government. Every decision. I can counter them point wise. And this knowledge people don't have, therefore they are able to create this false narrative. Every decision of Waqf Board which are taken by majority opinion, by board resolutions, can be returned back to the board by the CEO for reconsideration. Even if the board doesn't reconsider the opinion can be, this decision can be sent to the state government. State government can take a decision against the resolution of the board if there is some violation of law. This is the position today. Secondly, DM. Now, everybody in the country knows that DDA, people at least living in Delhi know that DDA is one of the most corrupt organizations in the country. I'm saying this on record, and I can quote judicial pronouncements also, MCDGDD. These DMs and these government officials who are in charge of this, if they can control corruption, if they have a superior brain, even now all the decisions are being taken by a senior government officer, who is the chief executive officer. All the amounts which are withdrawn, every action, CEO as the name itself speaks. He is the chief executive officer. His orders are the ones which implement the board resolution. What will the DM do? DM will not be a government official. And there is another, I would like you to give one
What
more
is the
example.
danger? What is the danger? That's what I wanted to understand from you, that now if DM becomes a final arbiter, what do you think is going to be the biggest danger for the community?
They will sit over. Delay is the first danger. And the bribery factor will be increased once again, because there is a act of parliament which constitutes a board in which there are various members who are appointed by an act of parliament, the procedure laid down by the parliament. Now, why and how somebody from outside will sit in judgment over their decisions? One. Two, he will not have the expertise to understand the nitty-gritties of the Muslim laws, Islamic laws. So it will create more confusion, more litigation, and that is the idea of the BJP and RSS. So the land mafias, property grabbers, land sharks, they will have a field day, because then they will be easily grabbing more properties. As of today, I am telling you, I will give you a classic example of Hyderabad. there are upward of 700, 1780 Waqf properties, upward of that much acreage, 1700 and about 80 acres of land, which is still Waqf property. The actual land was much more. And who is the permanent member for at least now 20 years? The local member of parliament. He has the maximum number of Muslim MLAs, and almost 75 to 80% of the land is encroached. Now, this being the situation, when it is an ideal situation, if people from outside are also included, then it will create another point to induce more corruption. And I'm talking about one of the senior most respected member of parliament of Muslims in the country. 75 to 80% of the land is usurped there. There is encroachment, and that is visible on their own website. I'm not saying making it up from my side or collecting some data. In the website
but the kind of explanations you are giving, what I want to ask you is that the government has brought in some 40 amendments to this act. Now, are these 40 amendments needless? And they would have done without it as well. But with an eye, what opposition is saying, with an eye on Haryana elections and Maharashtra elections, they are trying to create a communal frenzy, by bringing in this bill. That is what the opposition is saying. So,
absolutely.
Do you feel that these amendments which are brought in were actually not required?
First of all, these amendments are not in public domain. Secondly, there is a procedure of bringing in any new legislation. That procedure has not been followed. There is a wide-scale consultation. Then you put up a draft bill on the website. You ask for public opinion. You ask for objections. That exercise, according to my knowledge, has not been followed in this. And therefore, it has been referred to now. You are putting the cart before the horse now. So that exercise has not been undertaken. So why? In such a big hurry, one fine morning, they come out with another rabbit from their bag and release it in the market so that they can use it for oblique motives. And that's the biggest problem with these people.
I was listening to our party. I was listening.
Let me finish my sentence. So if they were really serious, they would actually help strengthen and reduce corruption rather than increasing more scope for corruption and reaping away the communal benefits of their communal politics.
Right. So you are saying that this will increase the corruption, and also at the same time they are trying to appropriate a communal agenda through this. But one statement which I was listening to in the morning by Sanjay Singh, Aam Aadmi Party Rajya Sabha MP, he says that this is not Waqf Bill, but this is an Adani bill. I'm exactly quoting what he said. He said that this is an Adani bill. They will try and usurp the Waqf land and they will hand it over to the corporates. So do you see this danger? Will it be replete with this danger, the new bill, with the amendments which will be brought?
With slight amendment. Ambani first, because he's sitting on his house is of Waqf, on Waqf land. Then Adani, then Yusuf Lulu, and then there is a list is very long. It is basically grab, and I will give you an example of tribal lands. PESA Act was brought for the protection of the tribal lands. Now, Mr. Adani, here I can say he's number one in usurping the lands of tribals. He is number one. Mr. Ambani is number two. Then Mr. Jindal, who recently joined government, his company Jindal Steel and Power, they are number three in usurping tribal lands across the country, which is creating unrest in tribal areas, including Hasdev latest in Chhattisgarh. And this is not only happening for Muslims, this is happening for tribals and scheduled castes. I should not forget, because large number of industrialists have also usurped land which were given to scheduled caste community in 20-point programs just after emergency. So these weaker sections, their lands, their assets are always under threat from powerful people. And when you bring such acts, they come under more bigger threats. That's the basic idea.
But as what the opposition says, do you see the constitutionality of this bill now since it has been referred to the Joint Parliamentary Committee, and I'm sure there'll be a widespread discussion on this now. But do you feel that the bill in its present form is actually anti-constitutional and anti-federal as well?
Directly
Okay.
directly against one of the most fundamental principles of our constitution, and that is freedom of speech and religion. Freedom of religion is also part of 25. It's part 3, section article 25. But it is intrinsic into freedom of speech also. So if I am not allowed to practice my religion without hurting anyone, now Waqf land is not hurting anyone. It is land donated by Muslims for charitable purposes, for the poor and all that, religious purposes. Now government want to have a say in that, be it for any religion. Is it not against the very basic structure of the constitution? What role business does any government, forget this anti-constitutional party, BJP and RSS, what business does any political party have or government have in the internal affairs of any community, any religious group? Saving, but for if there is corruption, for that there should be laws. And I think the normal laws, the regular laws which are applicable to any other person who's undertaking any crime or corruption, they are already sufficient to take care of corruption within the communities and their endowments also. So where is the need of introducing?
Right. I was also reading the statements which were given by the All India Muslim Personal Law Board, and they said that any interference with the legal status and the powers of the Waqf boards will not be tolerated. And the AIMPLB says that Waqf properties are donations which are made by Muslim philanthropists dedicated to religious and charitable purposes, and the government has only enacted the Waqf Act to regulate them. This is what is the statement which has come out by AIMPLB. So where do you see the things going from here on now, since the bill has been referred to the JPC? Where do you see the things? Are things already at a cross path?
Now, I think our institutions, both at the national level and at the community level also, have totally failed. People who are becoming champions. Now, I was actually inducted into the personal law board because of the reason that in 2013, Maulana Wali Rahmani, who was the General Secretary of the Waqf Board, he asked me to draft amendments for the 2013 amendments of the Waqf Act. He gave me only 2 days, 2 nights. So most of the amendments which to strengthen the Waqf, and I'm not against amendments. Let me be very clear. If they are for the good, if they are for the cause, then I am not against them. So I am the one, and these personal law board people, because I wanted these amendments to be implemented in letter and spirit, and most of these people, they were part and parcel of Waqf boards across the country. So I was actually stepping on their domain where there is huge corruption. So they are not recognizing me as a member of the personal law board without even informing me. But they are deliberately not taking my name because I am the one who's drafted most of these amendments of 2013. So this is the level of the resistance also. This resistance is for only political purpose. They are not interested in actually removing corruption from various Waqf boards. Because most of the member of parliament, most of these, our top members of personal law board are sitting on Waqf properties without giving the market value of the properties they are sitting on. And that was one of the amendments which I brought, Rule 7 of the Waqf rules, which says that you have to pay market value.
No, but Mehmood, do you see any reason for Muslim women to rejoice? The very fact that, they're not allowed to pray in a mosque, but now they will be allowed to be members of the Waqf board. Is that a reason to celebrate for the Muslim women?
Who tells that they are not allowed to pray in mosques? Tell me one mosque where Muslim women are not allowed to pray and go there, enter there. I will be the first person to take any Muslim woman to any mosque because this is a total nonsense. This is a total nonsense which is being spread by RSS to denigrate Muslim community. No Muslim woman is prevented from entering any mosque. No Muslim women can be prevented from entering any mosque. See the biggest place of worship for Muslims. Let me finish this.
Forget about praying. Of course, they pray.
No. One of the biggest.
They've been on the Waqf Board positions before.
They are already there.
Okay.
So what is there to rejoice? That provision I have just read now, section 14, proviso. 2 women when the number of board member is 11 is mandatory even now. So now they are intending to increase the numbers. They probably will increase it to 15 or 17 because they are now in each category they are wanting to bring in 3. So instead of making the number of women to 3, they are only saying 2. 2 is already there when the number is less. So in fact, they are taking away the right of Muslim women.
Where will the non-Muslim women? I mean, if the Hindu women are also there, is there a provision where they are including the Hindu women as well, along with the 2 Muslim women?
See, I have not seen the draft, so I will not like to comment. But their propaganda machinery is trying to bring in public domain these kind of whispers, so that there is a clash. They want to provoke Muslims so that they can fight with each other.
Okay.
So let's wait for then we will have a detailed comments on all these 40 amendments.
Right.
But
so towards
mind you, they are against Muslim women and they are basically against any women, including Muslim women. RSS is basic. See, you cannot be a member of RSS. Can you be? Even if you try. Even if you try, there is another body. In a mosque, you can go and pray. But you cannot be a member of RSS. They are inherently against women, RSS people.
Okay.
But they will create a charade that we are very pro-women.
So coming back to the final comments coming from you on the bill, and I would again want you to focus as point 1, 2, 3, 4, that what are the biggest dangers, which you see from this particular bill, which is coming in the form of amendments now, with 40 amendments.
The biggest danger is their motives. The biggest danger is their motives. They are not wanting to improve. They are wanting to help Adani and Ambani in the reverse order and other of their industrialists to usurp work lands as they have helped. Now you see in Ayodhya, Adani, I was reading one report that Adani is the biggest, and Ramdev, they have usurped the Shrine Board's land. So that is their main intention. Adani is the biggest encroacher in railway.
More than anybody else. So that is point number 1. Okay.
And that can be achieved only when you induce the DMs into the functioning of Waqf boards. That is the reason for induction of DMs. That is 1.
Okay.
2, they are creating a false narrative that Muslims are actually usurping land by saying Waqf board, as if Waqf board is some purely Muslim body which is not ruled by laws or governed by the parliament. That any land which Muslims or a Waqf board places its finger on, it becomes Muslim land. It is not so. So now, taking away the section 40, if they are wanting to dilute section 40, will take away the right of the Waqf board to take its land back from the encroachers. That is their idea. It is already quite not capable of retrieving its land back. Data will show you that even after stringent laws for getting back or removing the encroachers, there is a steady decline of Waqf properties. So we need to strengthen the act more to retrieve the encroached land. Instead, they are diluting. That's the third one. And then they want that we should go into the line of the regular legal system, which even Supreme Court in its various judgments, and their Supreme Court itself is holding lok adalats because they cannot handle cases, demand of cases. So what they want is tribunals also, they are not so quick in deciding the issues or the conflicts. But what they want is that they should go to the regular passenger train business of civil litigation, which will take hundreds of years. Then they are introducing I don't know whether they have introduced it or not. There is a provision that the Limitation Act does not apply to Waqf lands. Like there are so many other lands also where the limitation acts. For example, any government land, there is no limitation placed if you want to usurp. By way of adverse possession, you cannot claim government. You cannot claim defense land. You cannot claim railway land by way of adverse possession. So that provision, which is there for all the other public lands, they want to remove from Waqf land. Why? These are some of the, and I am only responding to whatever is there in the public domain. And they are not withdrawing it for any other purpose, but they know that right now they have ruffled the feathers of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe community in the form of not defending the reservation aspect. And there is a big agitation which is going on to protect the reservation. So they don't want that these two communities should join hands and launch a joint agitation to protect their rights. Therefore, that's the only reason why I think why Mr. Rijiju has referred it to Joint Parliamentary Committee. Otherwise, I don't think they would have withdrawn this act. There is no other reason which I can foresee.
No, but is there still any hope left, now, because in a JPC, there'll be a much wider consultation. So do you think that the things can be improved from whatever position the government has taken? Is there a scope for further improvement which can pacify the Muslim community as well? They'll feel assured. Can that happen in a JPC?
But first of all, you create a problem, then try to step back, and then show it as a great grant or favor. Where is the need of pacifying? You have started the fire yourself. But I am not actually without a mass movement against this government per se. I don't think any weaker section is safe in this country because they will grab the rights of the weaker sections.
Oh, but this particular bill, do you think? But this particular bill, I'm talking about the Waqf Bill, will it further lead to some kind of a new movement? Because many people say that, there are dangers that this could be like a Shah Bano moment, where the entire opposition now has got together and, they're sensing an opportunity. Do you think that could be another Shah Bano moment?
It will be a bigger moment because now people like us are also there now who will not.
You're saying it will be bigger than a Shah Bano moment?
Bigger, but in a different sense. Listen to me on that. Because Shah Bano, the cause, I'm not into that cause because it was not protection of religion which our Muslim clerics fought for and tried to involve various political parties. It was political, but this is actual rights which will affect giving a Muslim woman by one way or the other. And Rajiv Gandhi brought in a bill. So that was another way, no? If they had conceded before, what was the harm of giving a compensation of 500 rupees to a lady which was almost 80 years old? No. But they wanted to take it to another level. And I suspect that many of our religious leaders are also playing in collusion with the RSS. That's my serious doubt. But this is something else. And people have become, Muslim people have become quite intelligent and they have their own injuries to them because of these religious leaders. So now this will be a different and we will fight our battles along with other weaker sections. Now I am exhorting upon Muslims to, even if this thing has gone away for some time, do not think that it's not going to come back and bite you again. So let us now try and work out a system where we will rise for the protection of the rights of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe and OBCs for the reservation. We have to fight a joint battle, and this RSS and BJP have to be permanently sidelined from the polity of this country unless they actually genuinely adhere to the constitution of this country, the spirit of the constitution of this country. And that's the only thing which will save the weaker sections, save the country. And I think, once again, I can't help myself but say that EVM is the root cause of all the ills of this country as of now, because this government is an EVM government, not a public.
Right. But Mehmood, but final question to you, that do you see this bill, even after the wide consultation in the JPC, do you see this bill or the law whenever it becomes a law being challenged in the court?
Absolutely, because this is directly against 25. And I have not seen, I am just commenting upon whatever is there in public domain. And I don't think, since they have the numbers, I am under no delusion. They have the numbers. If they want, it's just because it's not conducive to them, they are taking a step back. They have the numbers and they will do it whenever they want. So we should not be relaxed under any circumstance. Not the Muslim community, and they should now join hands with other weaker sections, including the women, and have a agitation and a campaign to have this government and any other government who's against the constitution to put them in their place. That's the need of the hour.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Pracha, for joining on The Federal. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this interview: subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to The Federal. Thank you.
The Federal and Velavan Hypermarket jointly present the Thuthukudi Marathon 2024 to raise awareness on drug abuse. The event is co-presented by Edison Cardio Care Center, Tiruchendur, powered by L. Anand Jewelry and Saint Mother Teresa Engineering College, Thuthukudi.